Welcome to the Prospectors Radio Show, the talk show for our community. Please welcome Rich Cooley, Indiana Gold Hunter Dennis Dayton, Kathleen Biffle, and your host, Tim Grimes.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another edition of Prospector Radio. I'm your host, Tim Grimes, and joining me, as always, we got Kathleen and Shad Biffle, we got Rich Cooley, and Scott Swiftwater Toney's here as well. What's going on, you guys?
Hey, everybody.
Not much. How we doing?
Doing good, man. Now,
Hey, we didn't hear the intro, man. Did you play it?
sure did.
No,
I didn't hear it neither.
I know. I was like,
it was just a dead pause. I thought maybe, yeah, the dead pause.
I don't know.
Try it again right now.
Welcome to the Prospectors Radio
Nothing.
Show,
Dead air.
the talk
Come on,
show
you don't
for
hear
our
it?
community.
No, we don't hear it. Dead air, man.
Here, let's see something. It's playing.
Welcome to the
Yeah, they hear
Prospectors
it.
Radio Show,
right, hold
the
on.
talk show for our
W.Y. Gold
community.
said he heard it.
Please welcome Rich
see, they-
Cooley, Indiana Gold Hunter
How you guys
Dennis
got it?
Dayton,
Oh, I
Kathleen
bet I
Biffle,
know.
And your host, Tim Grimes.
You probably turned us off.
No, it's it's running through the thing. It's
hello,
the-
world.
It's a
Can you hear me?
dang gum Skype is what it
They
is.
can hear the intro, but
Here.
we can't hear
Here,
nothing.
see if you hear it now, Rich.
Welcome to the
Yeah, now you
Prospectors
can.
Radio
Now we hear it.
Show,
It
the talk
sound
show.
normal now.
See, it's that damn Skype.
Yeah, now you sound normal. Before you
You
sound
sound
like
like Tim
Yeah.
Grimes,
All right.
the host of Prospectors Radio.
Well, thank you. See, we couldn't figure it out. And that's all. It was that stupid Skype. God, that thing annoys.
It's those damn Russians.
It is. It's
It's gotta be.
some damn banshees. That's what it is.
Must be the Chinese.
Hey, by the way, are you guys looking for any jobs in the Ukraine? I know an opening.
Are you going for it?
Wow, somebody quit?
I would say so.
Well, who
Do
quit?
they need a control manager?
They probably do.
Who quit, Scott?
Biden's son. You guys are totally missing the joke, man. He
Obviously.
went from there over to China,
Oh.
and then he just got let go from China.
Oh. Now we get it. See,
Good gosh.
you have to break it down for us sometimes, Scott. You know.
I know. Gee, we're just not as quick as you at things.
No.
You think we would be, but
You
we're
would-
not.
you would
Yeah,
think.
I know.
I'm not saying nothing.
Scott's wit is just too quick for us, Shad. It's
Uh-oh. Darth put in for the position asking $450,000 a month. You know what? I'll do it for 100. Hire me.
That's it.
There you go.
95.
Save $350 and buy a new hat.
There you go. Now,
Save him some money in the process there.
now I seen something earlier. I seen that Shad and Kathleen, you guys went out and did some metal detecting today or something.
Yes. It was more of a test drive to familiarize ourselves with the machines after watching videos and tutorials, and just to get used to the sounds. We took some gold and played tricks on each other, hiding it and throwing metal around just to mess with each other.
Well, I don't metal detect usually, so it makes a difference when you have a good one.
Well, yeah.
Did you guys find it hard to watch videos because of the noise?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, that was a dog.
That's one of our dogs.
Wait, what
That's
noise?
not-
What are you talking about? What noise?
Never mind.
No, I said on the videos. I said, you guys ever have trouble watching them because of the noise that they're making on the videos with their metal detector?
Well, what noise? What are you talking about?
I mean,
Like the damn, yeah,
Oh.
it gets some of them get just arrogant. Like, gosh, I'm gonna strangle a guy.
Oh, they make all that sound, and
Oh my gosh, watch a couple of them, you'll know.
I've watched a few, and they
Well,
weren't.
no, we plan, obviously we're coming out to, Scott's area of the woods and, to metal detect for some nuggets, but we figured, hey, we might as well start practicing.
Right.
Yeah, you know what? My thing is
Understanding.
I don't know whether if I want to put back on my big coil or if I still want to leave my small coil on. I still haven't decided
Well,
yet.
just take the other one with you.
Take both. You don't have to fly.
Right. So just,
No, I know it, but I mean, just I like to have it set up before I get there. But
I don't know. You need to ask these expert metal detector.
What I don't understand is when you guys go to these seated hunts, why do you got to have a big freaking hat on these things? What good is it?
Because it covers more ground, right?
Yeah, well,
seated hunt.
A
My
wide-
God,
but-
what do you need one like 24 inches wide for?
Because it covers a bigger area, I guess.
yeah,
right?
like he says, it covers more ground. See, like if you use I think I can remember this. If you're using a bigger coil, you're going to be like in more open sections, and to use the smaller coil, it also helps.
Greedy. Is that what you're saying?
Well, you can say that.
Yeah, you're trying to find
Well,
everything.
isn't it though? The bigger the coil, though, you won't get as good as depth.
Not as
either.
good as
That's
depth,
yes.
right.
That's what I was saying about.
Right.
It's a bigger area, but not a depth.
Right.
But see, you don't want to have a big coil if you're like in a lot of scrub brush, neither.
So you're a
Oh
groundhog.
no, you won't be able to swing effectively.
Right.
Right.
Or they say in real trash areas, don't use a big coil. Use
Right.
Small.
I think Scott just doesn't like using the big coil because he looks so little with it.
my coil ain't that big. You funny
He
guy.
likes the little coil.
Just use the little coil, Scott.
I do like
Yes,
using the
right,
little
David.
coil because I'll tell you, it
Seated is not
really
very
pinpoints it.
Right. That makes more
Seated
sense.
hunts are not very deep anyway. so-
Right.
No.
Right. So if you using a bigger coil, you wouldn't care about the depth. You'd just be covering a wider field at a time, each pass. So it would make sense, I guess. But
Well, another thing is like a big coil. If you have like say a flat piece of gold, but it's actually turned upright where it's like really skinny, I think your smaller coil is going to pick up on that faster than a bigger coil would.
probably
Just because it's really skinny and up and down instead of laying flat like a piece of say a tin can or a piece of pop can. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Well, and the thing I watched is like all these machines, they seem to come a lot of time. Like the Minelab, the two coils, you have the mono and then the double D one.
Right.
The mono is one that's going to really go straight down and get that maximum depth compared to the double D. At least that's what I read. I don't know how true. Thoughts?
Yeah.
I got none.
I'll tell you. I mean, I've used metal detectors quite a bit, but to get out and be like really serious about them, I'm really just not that serious. I mean, I know how to work them and tune them in and get them to go, and then I know how to work them and work them slow and stuff. But like, there's some of these guys that go out religiously, like what we do from Gold Digger. They go out metal detecting all the time. So these guys would probably have, there's probably somebody out there listening right now that's probably could nail every question we have, without a doubt. But
Well, sure. That's a
Yeah, the only time we've ever used one really was when we were dry washing. We'd clean out the bedrock and we swipe over it and make sure nothing was left behind and check our classified tailings. That was our main uses before for gold.
Did your new pinpointer come in, Shad?
Yeah.
And how did that?
We went with the MyLab 35 Pro Finder, whatever it is.
Right.
It works very well.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. There's definitely more practice with everything, I think.
Gotcha.
Just to get used to it and understand how to best utilize it. But
So it
seems
vibrates.
promising.
Okay. Well, you're ready then.
It vibrates and it tone, right?
That's right. It vibrates really good.
Does it have a different tone for different metals?
It does. We were trying to get used to it. We think there might be because it's supposed to send a different signal.
Right.
For like trash, basically, so you don't waste your time if you're looking for gold. But I don't know for sure yet.
Right. I think
We're still experimenting with that stuff.
Now, on this hunt that you guys are going to, it's a seated hunt, so you're just trying to...
No, it's not. It's on claims out there. Well, I don't know if they're having an event where it is seated. They may. I don't know.
Okay.
But most of it is actually, if say you're a GPAA, there's claims nearby. AMRA, there's claims by, as well as there's open ground, BLM land, all there too that you can walk off. It's actually the camping area is where we camped when we were all out there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Jackass Flats.
Well, that's cool.
Oh,
So,
Nice. So you're
Cool.
You're going to be looking for specifically gold.
yes,
That's
yeah,
really-
and that's what.
okay, cool.
And then Kathleen and I, we're hoping to maybe wander around.
We'll be wandering.
Maybe find our own little.
Now, did you guys take like smaller pieces and like put them on plastic or and something and put them so that you hear what they sound like?
We had all different sizes. Some really small, then a gram, and then we had our 3 gram one for fun.
Okay.
I'll tell you what. You need to get a bullet, a nail.
Oh yeah, we had all that different iron, bullet, lead, stuff that we thought would be out there.
Yeah, out here you're just going to find more or less like a piece of tin, bullet, and a nail, and then you get your gold. That's about. You're not going to run across too much more out there like that.
Right. Well, that's.
Of course, you'll know it. You'll know a pop can sound.
What's it sound like?
Oh, I can't even make that sound. It's so high. It blasts your. If you got headphones on, it'll blast your ear out.
Really?
Oh yeah, tin cans go off really bright.
Really, really high.
That's funny.
I found a lot of aluminum foil.
And was it a real high pitch, Kathleen?
Yeah.
A higher pitch than your gold sound?
Well, not really. I mean, it was loud, but
right.
Once you hear the gold, then you know it's gold.
So if you're out in the, like on this hunt, can you determine the 2 sounds?
I don't know.
Here's my thought though.
Screw it. If you hear something,
I would like to say yeah, but probably for us being out there, we're going to dig every target.
Exactly.
Probably.
Why not? Right.
At least to get used to it, because
Right. Why not?
Just the case.
Dig it all. Exactly. Makes sense, because you don't want to not dig something and walk away from a monster chunk of gold.
But don't worry, we're coming for you, Scott.
Oh, that's right. The wager. Don't forget the wager. That's right.
What did we bet again?
You don't even remember? What we say? Just even 20.
Everybody puts in $20.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Sounds like a deal.
it was 20.
Yeah, we'll keep it friendly. We don't want.
I would have went the $100 bet, but I'll do the 20 with you.
It's only 5 more each, I guess, right?
Yeah, he's not. He's not
have a 5.
Yeah, he's not seeding this thing though, is he? It's just it's a hunt, right?
No,
Right.
That's my understanding. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
But I'm not sure. I mean, they may have a little something just for fun, I guess. I have no clue.
So if one person finds like a bunch of pop cans and bullets and nails, and the other person finds one small piece of gold, they win, right?
Exactly.
Well, for gold, yes. If say nobody finds gold, but one person finds one tiny, tiny little grain nugget, that grain nugget wins.
That's the winner.
However, are we going to say somebody, a non-partial person, if we find like cool relics?
Sure. Right. If you find
no
relics,
nuggets,
that
then
counts.
the best one there finds.
Right, but just straight up junk just don't count though, unless that's all you find, and then it's whose junk is better.
That's right.
I think maybe net worth would be better than anything, but
What do you mean net worth?
like if we don't find any gold, whoever finds the stuff that's worth more,
Scrap iron weight?
All right,
Like a
that's
gun
cool.
or something.
But who's to say that?
Yeah, no doubt. Imagine Kathleen finding a gun frame. That's pretty darn good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good find. But what if you both just find like junk? So is it going to be the value of the scrap metal or what then?
No, scrap metal don't count. If that's the case, everybody takes their $20 and we all buy beer and just call it.
Right.
All right, that sounds fair. That's a good way to do it. If nobody finds no gold or no relics, treasury stuff, then it's just a draw. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
cool.
True. That works. Nothing wrong with that. That will definitely work. I mean, heck.
Now, here's my question for people that do detect and have they traveled with their detectors. Like, I know, like, the detectors we previously had were, like, the bounty hunters that use regular, like, 9-volt batteries. The one detector we have has a huge box of a battery. You can't put those underneath the plane. You got to take them on carry-on, right?
Really?
Well, you changed it.
Because it's a lithium battery.
Right.
It's a beast.
Yeah, I heard it's no batteries now, period.
Yeah, they all have to go in your carry-on, right?
That's what I heard.
You know, if I was traveling with a metal detector, I'd just put it in a gun case myself.
But you still can't pack a battery in it and put it.
No, but the
Why
battery,
can't you
the
pack a
battery could.
battery?
No, remember that makes sense because I had to remember for our Alaska trip. I had to unpack everything and take all the batteries out.
Yeah.
I just didn't know because it's like a big box.
Yeah,
like,
that's
is
what
TSA
sucks.
going to look at me like, what the heck is this?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm sure there's.
And you're bringing a bomb on board by a battery.
I'm sure there's
No,
some.
it's huge.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some people that have flown with them, and like you said, it's a weird thing, I guess.
There's
Dang.
got to be a way.
But yeah, you got to take the battery out. It can't go in the belly of the plane. So, jeez.
Well, I mean, if there's anybody out there can answer that question, give a call or something.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Yeah, let us know. I mean, if you've flown with the Detector lately, because I know they did. They changed it to no batteries.
Right.
So that's no battery policy. Because I don't know.
You're not allowed to do anything.
No, you're not. I mean,
Are they changing your guys' license too for
yeah.
travel license?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, they have to. All state licenses have to be federal compliant or standard. So I think next year, I know Ohio, we have to get a new license.
Yeah,
like
but
they've been open again, but it's like, why bother?
it
You know what?
started this-
You know what I hated
If you have
what
a
they did
passport,
on.
you don't need one.
Yeah, passport, you don't need one.
If you have a government ID or a passport, you do not need to get one of these special licenses. It's more of a pain in the butt to get the special license than anything, because if you're married, you got to have marriage certificates. If you was divorced, you got to have all that information.
Oh, jeez.
You got to have everything to be able to get this real.
Oh yeah, you have to proof of residency. If you have a signed Social Security card, which you're supposed to sign them, that doesn't work to validate you.
What?
Now, it's a big to do.
It is.
And then
All
you
I
have
did
to
is I
wait
went
till
in-
they mail it to you.
Right. They do.
All I did was went in with a bill, my birth certificate, and my Social Security card, and poof, there it is. I got it for $26.
But do you
out of
got
there.
the one that you can
Passport.
fly?
Yeah, well, you're in Arizona.
See,
You're not,
'cause
Yeah.
I got mine
you're not in a
done.
money-making state like we are.
I got mine done in August, and they asked me if I was going to get the one where you could fly or the regular one. I'm like, just give me the regular one, because I didn't have.
No,
none
you
of
should have
that
got the
crap.
other one, dude.
I didn't have
Yeah,
none of that
because now
stuff
next
with
year
me.
you're gonna
Now
have
you
to
can't fly.
Right. I didn't have none of the stuff with me. I'm like, I just need
Oh.
I need my driver's license renewed. It's my birthday. They expired. And so they give you a paper and they mail them to you in the mail, like Shad said. It's like 2 weeks. And they said if you decide you're going to go on a trip, you just got to come in and bring all that nonsense and get it redone.
But you got to allow enough time to make sure you get it
Right.
delivered to you.
yeah,
you
you
know?
got to allow that.
It's crazy.
2 weeks.
What I
It's
thought
so
was funny is they
stupid.
took our driver's license. They used to look pretty cool with a desert scene on them. Now they just made them white and put a little bitty star up in the corner. I
They're
went, well, that
boring.
just sucks.
They're boring.
Oh yeah, ours look ridiculous. They're like greenish looking. I
They're
swear.
strange.
The only good thing about our license out here, though, is like my license don't expire till what, 2034, 2036 or something like that.
Oh wow.
Dang. Ours is every 4 years.
No,
Yeah.
not out here.
Oh, do you realize, Kathleen, when we move to Arizona, you'll have to take the driver's test there.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, you always do when you go to a
No,
new
you
state.
don't.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. Oh, she's panicked. The look on her
You
face.
got, man, you ever had to take a driver's test in Phoenix? This is going to be funny. I want this on video.
Yeah, you do.
I flunked the Ohio one like 3 times.
Yeah.
I had
Wow.
to wait before
Yeah.
I took it again.
You have.
How do you
to.
flunk it 3 times?
I don't know.
She's an Asian female driver.
Oh no,
Did it.
that's right. You do. You got to take the stupid driving test again. That's right.
Uh-uh.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
It's
What am I
dumb.
going to do?
It
We'll have
makes-
to practice, dear.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm old.
I know, it's scary.
It might be easier now, Kathleen, because you are old.
Yeah, it's always easier with 3 lanes of traffic going 45, 50 mile an hour by you. Hell, that's totally cool. You'll have a car that says student driver.
Oh, geez.
We know you're there.
Man, that sucks.
I'm really scared now.
I wouldn't want to
Maybe
take
we
mine
should
again.
move.
I mean, I'm with you, Kathleen. I wouldn't want to take it again either. It's stupid. You should just be able
Yeah.
to turn in your license and get an Arizona one.
That's like saying, like, if you rent a car there, they make you. No, you're lying to me.
No,
Hey,
he's telling you the truth. You
I've
really
had to
do.
go with our kids so they can get their IDs and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's always people there that just moved
yeah.
to Ohio and are now residents of Ohio and were there to take their tests.
When I moved from Pennsylvania back to Ohio, I had to take the stupid driver's test over again. I'm like, are you kidding me? I've already been an Ohio licensed driver. Don't matter. You was an up Pennsylvania one. Now you're back in Ohio. Oh, geez.
Now, see, when I first got here to Arizona, I didn't have to take a driver's test. But I had all the paperwork and everything, too. But that was shit. That was a long time ago.
Probably was many, many moons ago. Yeah.
But speaking of Arizona, did anybody see that snake picture Donald Knox shared on
Wasn't that
awesome?
Tagged us?
Yeah. that
Holy
thing was huge.
cow, that was a beast of a
What
rattlesnake.
snake was it?
A rattlesnake.
Or was that just...
I seen that picture. I was like, yeah, that's right. Just encourage him.
Yeah. That was a big old rattler. It's like, man.
They're still out, but they're slow now. They're not too quick until like middle of the day.
Yeah.
See, we did like, all right, we've been out a few times now in the November time frame out there, and
we never
seen him. The only time we've really seen him when we've been out there has been in April, and then when it got warmer.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you remember when you was out here dry washing, you seen one?
Yeah, but that was April.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, but November time frame.
We even slept outside and
Didn't see him.
elements and never saw one.
Yeah,
Nope.
see, that's cool. So you might be all right. You know, I mean, you might see a couple, but who knows?
You know what? I tell my gal all the time, if you're going to walk, if we're metal detecting stuff like that, and I say, if you ever want to look around or look up at something, don't keep walking. Stop.
Yeah.
Look at what you want to look at, and then go back when you start walking again. Look back down at the ground.
Always look down.
Always look down.
Hey, but don't forget to look in the little shrubs and stuff.
Yeah, right where the
What
goal's
about
going to be.
scorpions?
Those
out right now?
Yeah, but you're not going to worry about those things. They're not like in the desert. If you're digging, you might.
If you're
come
digging
across them,
into
but
like
you're
drift
walking,
mines or stuff, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you'll find them down in there. You remember shoot. Matter of fact, Jeff Williams just had a video.
Yeah.
He got stung.
Yeah. See?
He's going. I like the way he calls it a monger, but I know what he wants to say. But he said he took his glove off, and before he put his glove back on, he put his hand down or something to get up, and right when he put his hand down, boom, he got right in the bottom of the palm. He said his hands went numb and his arms were burning. I was like, yeah, I bet they were.
From a scorpion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, he was all discombobulated from that thing.
But like most of the time, for the facts of scorpions, they're walking around out here. I've never actually seen one just walking around. They've always had to be dug up. Of course, it's not nighttime or nothing. I mean, at nighttime, I know they're out. And a simple black light, you can find them easy. But I've never seen one walk around in the daytime.
Oh, because they're hiding in the shade, right?
Yeah, I think. Well, it's not only that. It's because it has to do something with their skin, the way it's like the color of it. Stuff. I don't think they really enjoy the sunlight too much. You know what I mean?
Because they can bake.
Oh.
Yeah, I
okay.
think because they can bake. Exactly.
Okay. So they kind
They're
of
crustaceans.
they kind of hiding in the brush, the shade, kind of keeping cool.
Oh, they'll hide under freaking boards, rocks, it's sometimes
Soft
it's
sand.
Yeah.
The loose sand. That's like you get to areas where there's a lot of loose sand. They could be in that. I remember that from Mojave Desert in California.
Yeah. Now, remember when me and Ben was sitting there back a long time ago? We were digging in all that white sand.
Uh-huh.
We dug out a couple scorpions. I dug out one that landed on my knee. And I was like, oh my God. I mean, this thing was like as big as my thumb, and the tail was as big as my pinky. I'm like, this thing looks like it should be in the jungle.
Every dollar is gone.
What is that?
Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. They're saying you got to watch out for
Popped on my
spiders.
phone.
Oh, it's okay. I just was wondering what it was. I heard the noise. But they're saying you got to watch out for spiders. So.
Spiders are spiders. You guys got probably spiders back, like red.
Oh, yeah.
The black widows, you'll see them every now and then, but they're always in place. They're in places where you're not going to be messing around in. I'm not going to go digging around in a piece of, big bunch of pile of wood to try to find gold. There's no reason for me to be in there turning that stuff over. So
Right.
Maybe that's where the 10-pound nugget is.
It is.
yeah,
Right, Ohio.
It's underneath that sagebrush, yeah.
Yeah, what was that bullcrap story
that,
about?
That's clickbait. That
I mean,
YouTube
come
thing.
on.
Okay, I guess somebody says he's followed that guy before because he mostly does like a lot of small engine garage work type of stuff, but he likes to prospect. They think he was just doing a gag and just to get people to click to his page, but evidently it's took off.
I think somebody found it. I think somebody found a nugget somewhere else and didn't want to say where they found it, so they just said, "Well, I found it in Ohio."
No.
Well, that rock looks just like rocks you can find in southern Ohio, and that he painted it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Straight up, man.
No, it was straight up
Gold
bull.
nuggets don't look like that here,
was
let alone
straight
that
up-
big.
straight
Don't
up bull.
those guys know if they post something on the internet, it's supposed to be true?
I guess
That's
they
what's
didn't read
fun
that.
about it.
I mean, I guess they didn't read that, Scott. That it's got. If
Yeah.
you're going to post it on there, it's got to be true.
Well, there was a story way back where a kid, actually, I think he was like 12 or 13, he found a gold nugget in Kentucky, in which Kentucky, folks, is not known for gold at all.
No,
And
it's not.
he said, "Oh, I pulled it out of this pond, my brother," in which the only thing that stuck with him is because his brother was the witness. He said his brother walked by it, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, look at that! It's a gold nugget." And he said he leaned down and picked it up, and his brother was mad because he walked past it first, but that was his witness, and they said they found it in one of the lakes down there. I'm like, I have never heard anybody finding any kind of gold anywhere in Kentucky, and I've been all
Let
over.
alone in a lake. That's weird.
Yeah.
Unless somebody dropped it.
Right.
Well, who's going to be carrying around a 2-ounce gold nugget?
I don't know. Well, I mean, like Ed Marvin said in Ohio, there was a large nugget found
Yes,
there in '99,
specimen.
but my understanding is it was
was-
quartz
it was
with
quartz
gold
in
in it. So, I don't think it was really classified as a large nugget, but it's definitely a cool specimen. However, I have never met anybody who physically saw it, so I don't. I think it could be an old just lore. People
Well,
say
you know
just
how I
like
think.
get
We know how the
excited.
gold got there, guys. It's glacier pushes, and glaciers grinded stuff up
Yeah.
so bad.
Yeah,
Right.
that was just like, get out of here. I'm calling BS on that one.
That's what I put on the post. BS.
Oh, bingo. It was like,
Fake news.
yeah, it was like, no way. What was it in the bottom of a Solo cup or something?
That was the picture.
That's what it
It
was.
was magnified a million times.
Yeah. I'm like, man, we need to do that. Yeah.
Especially like 40 pounds. I mean, come on now.
I know. Come on.
Hey, don't get me wrong, that would be awesome, but let's face
Right.
it, we don't live in Australia.
Exactly. And it.
If they said it was found in Australia, I'd be like, oh, okay, that's believable.
That makes
When you
sense.
say I found it in Ohio, I'm like, no.
No,
Right.
that's why I was like, no.
Yeah.
You guys. I mean, you've seen the biggest nuggets I ever seen out here in Arizona found, and there's pictures that was on my Facebook page about. I don't know. You'd have to go back in them a couple years ago, but I actually got them in my pan, and I'm sitting there with them in my hand. It was a friend of mine found them after I gave him a bunch of metal detector tips and stuff like that. He actually went back out on his own claim and found these things, and I was like, holy moly. But yeah, he said he found those one day and then searched around all the next day, never found anything else.
Huh.
He just found one patch that had maybe 6 or 7 quarter-sized nuggets, and he said now there's nothing else out there.
I'll be darned.
Hey, but here's the thing, man. I'm not saying it can't happen or there's no chance in hell it would happen.
Right.
It could be out there.
Oh, it could be.
You never know.
It could be.
But it's highly unbelievable, though. I mean, as
Yeah,
gold prospectors and miners like we are, well, that's just highly.
Yeah, but part of it, too, would be jealous
Yeah.
because we're gold miners.
Yeah.
But still, yeah. I mean, you never know.
But you don't. I mean, it could be under that.
Hey,
that
come on. We
rock.
all would love to pull even
Oh,
just
God.
even a $5 nugget's always
Oh,
oh my
yeah.
gosh, this thing's massive.
Yeah.
You know,
if
but
I
still,
found,
Now you gotta think about this though. You guys, we got the internet, you got Twitter, you got your social media crazy. Everybody is. Everybody's
Oh
on. it.
yeah, you can.
If you found a nugget like that, wouldn't you be on there with that thing? And you're like, look what I
If
just
I-
found.
no.
You know.
Well, that would be in the news. It would have leaked out.
Yeah.
Everybody
Heck yeah.
would be going nuts. Yeah.
If I found one that big, it would not be on Facebook.
I honestly think the guy did it for people to come check out his channel
Sure.
and talk about it. And
Yeah.
hey, success.
Definitely.
Oh, sure.
It was
Well-
what do they call it? Clickbait.
if that was the case, then that whoever did that, genius, just genius.
Oh, it's funny. I think it's got people talking. That's for sure.
Oh, sure.
But what if? What if?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, what if frogs had wings too?
Yeah, true. But I don't know if I found it. It wouldn't be on Facebook in a damn Solo cup. It would be.
Hey, YouTube shared on Facebook.
Right, exactly. Where's she at? It's like, nope, I'm not telling nobody.
Not in a Solo cup, he
it's
says.
kind of like that treasure you find and you don't tell nobody. It's like, I found this huge nugget, not telling nobody. Let me just cash it in, It's like, no way. No, it's just.
I would specifically said I found it in a place I wasn't at.
There's a good play, too, right.
And then I would sit back and watch people just swarm.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's never happened.
That's true. Yeah. Interesting.
Me, I'd say I found it at the pit with Dennis Dayton.
Yeah, it's at the pit with Dennis. Go talk to Dennis.
Yeah, they'd all be there, standing there.
Oh, Dennis would let us have it for that.
Look at my one-day keep from Dennis Dayton. One day. He'd have so many people going, "Hey, do you do gold cheers?"
Yeah.
He'd definitely not
funny.
like us, that's for sure.
Good move. That would be funny, though. Mm-hmm.
Well, speaking of gold, how about we talk about the prices?
Oh, that sounds like a plan. Do it, Chad.
Man, you know what? I haven't seen it for 3 days, or at least.
Well,
Tell me it went
you'll
up.
be happy. You'll be happy. It only went up $1, but it's at $1,504.
Okay.
So we're still at $1,504 an ounce.
Yeah.
Yep.
15.
Silver's up 22 cents, $18.04. So
Nice.
that's a big movement for silver.
Man, I just hope the price stays up through my season this year. I need it to stay up there, or if not, go higher.
Platinum, that went up $4 to $928.
Okay.
Now palladium, that fell $10. All right, but it's at 1,759.
Okay.
So
Damn
yep. So
right.
let's now go over to our friend Rhodium. What's your guess here? Do you think it stayed flat, went up, or went down?
Went up.
All right, it went down down $10 at 5,470. So you're wrong. Thank you.
Wow. I figured it went up with gold and silver going up. It would have went up because it always goes up. It seems like even everything.
Now my
else
question
down.
is, I guess the Federal Reserve is going to be making changes to the interest rates again this week. We'll see how the gold and precious metal markets respond.
Okay. Will it be by Wednesday or maybe
We're
next?
not giving you advice. By
Oh, I don't know. I don't think they gave a set date. I have Tuesday in my head, but I don't remember. However, one person did make the comment. They said if after this announcement, if gold can get up to 1550,
Okay.
within a week or two, they're confident gold may be able to make it up to 1600 by the end of the year.
Yeah, because I think what they're talking about in that instance is like if it goes to 1550, if it does the level, if the levitation that it's been doing, if it goes to 1550, then it'll stay up above 15 and hover around 1525, 1520. That's probably where they're getting all that stuff at.
Yeah.
It'll be hovering. It's like right. You remember when it was like, what was it last year? It was 1400, I think, when I was in the season, right? And it stayed there for quite a long time, actually. Around 1420, 1450. And then back down in that area. So if it goes and it resets a higher standard, then it'll stay there. Is what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Okay.
And under no circumstances is Gold Prospector Space Radio reliable for any
exactly
advice at all.
Exactly.
But that's just
Especially
my
if it
speculation.
comes from Swiftwater.
Right.
Like I said, that's just my speculations.
Yep.
Well, this is October,
Good.
so end of the year is not far away.
No, I can't believe it's almost November. I mean, you know what's funny, though? I was just thinking about, I think one of our members, too, shared a funny post I saw, but it's not even Halloween, and they have all the Christmas stuff up in stores.
Dude, I know it.
They just put up the New River Christmas tree last week. I'm like, what? It's not even Thanksgiving yet.
Didn't the official start of it, Christmas, used to always be the day after Thanksgiving,
Yes.
right?
Yes,
When you had
correct.
big
Exactly.
parades.
Yes.
That's when you would go get your tree or start putting stuff up and go start shopping. Now it's like, oh, it's September 3rd. Let's put the Christmas stuff out.
Oh, yeah. It's like I went to Lowe's. They got the Christmas stuff over here, and then 2 aisles down, it's full Halloween stuff. And
Oh, it's hilarious.
You know,
Like I think
Yeah.
my grandma was always like the tree went up the day after Thanksgiving,
comes
it went
the
down
day after.
a week after. Was it a week after Christmas?
We always take ours down the day after Christmas.
The day after? Well, she
Yeah.
used to take it down like a week after or something.
Some right after New Year's. Some.
We've always done
That's
New
it.
Year's. I did growing up right around New Year. Right before New Year's, we would take it down.
Right.
growing
Yeah,
up.
but man, it's really hard to do that with a real tree because, man, you drag that through the door, needles fly everywhere.
Yeah.
That's funny, though. Arizona, you have real Christmas
That
trees.
is weird.
Do
We got
they?
fake
Wouldn't
ones.
they poof?
You guys got real Christmas trees?
Yeah, there's guys that sell them down here on the corner. They got like 2,000 of them sitting out there to get rid of.
Do they grow them there in Arizona? Or are they
That I
shipping
can't
them
tell
from-
you because the
They
Christmas
probably
trees.
bring them down from Colorado or
Probably.
Well, I was going to say because I've went up north like Flagstaff stuff like that. I don't see Christmas trees. Now there's pines, but those ain't Christmas trees.
Right.
Yeah.
But somebody's probably they're bringing them up from one of them other states and so on.
It looks, and most
Okay.
of them look. I mean, if you guys has ever seen it, most of them look like they actually come off of a Christmas tree farm.
Right,
So
of
I
course.
don't know where that's
Oh,
at.
yeah.
but-
That's what they usually do now, but it's just funny.
Okay, that's kind of weird.
Yeah, like I said, that the one they just put up at New River, that's like the law. That's a tree like you wouldn't believe. I mean, it took 2 cranes to put this tree up, and it's
Oh,
a
wow.
real tree.
Are the prices expensive for your Christmas trees down there then?
I don't know. I never bought one.
Ah,
Like I said, I'm always at Gold Camp during Christmas or back in Indiana. You know, if I fly back to see my kin. So, yeah, I don't buy trees.
oh, okay. Have you ever priced one?
I think that they price the trees by the foot, right? Yeah, Lisa said they price the Christmas trees by the foot.
Okay.
So
So you
Lisa
would
goes,
get,
they're
what,
expensive.
a 4 foot?
Very funny, Shad.
You caught it.
But no, Lisa said they're pretty expensive.
Well, Don G said they asked $10 per foot here. So,
Wow.
okay. Dang.
Might as well buy a fake one for that.
Yeah, right? And it just...
Hey, you guys just see that message from Dennis?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, burr.
What's the best?
It's hard to believe you've seen it.
Man, I'm hooked up on the Wi-Fi, dude. You don't even know.
I know, but usually you don't see the messages. You don't
No.
want messaging you.
I set a thing up on my computer now. It kicks out a little window when somebody puts a message on, like our group chat or something like that. It'll kick out the
Welcome
message
to
and
the
say
real
that.
world.
What, Rich?
I said, welcome to the real world.
Right. Thank you. Scott.
And we've had that all the time. You just did that?
Well, all right. Since we're in the spirit of holidays, let's talk about birthdays then.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
I know Cooley's got his Cooley's Corner to get to.
Yes, sir.
So, all right, it's October 27th. We have Anthony, Augie Dog, Brian Cooper, Chris Goodrich, Ibrahim, James Price, Ken Morgan, Sean Irvin, and Suzanne. Tomorrow, I can see Claire Ruthruff, Ed Haas, Errol Baybura, Mike Landers, and Robbie Miller.
Oh, happy birthday.
Happy day.
Happy birthday.
Got a highlight?
Yeah, I'll just randomly pick one today. All right, pretty much. So Augie Dogs. All right,
Dogs.
that's who we're gonna
cool.
highlight.
Okay.
Where do you think Augie Dog is from?
God.
Take a guess.
Out west somewhere, California.
Arizona.
Scott, what do you think?
God.
All right, Scott has nothing to say.
Go look.
He's from Wallace, Idaho.
Oh, wow. Yes.
He's mostly a recreational prospector.
Mhm.
Doesn't belong to any clubs. He found the site from a friend, Larry. So Larry, thank you for referring him.
Yeah.
But he uses a pan, shovel, pick, sluice, and dredge to help find some gold, and he's been a member since 2015.
Very cool. Well, happy birthday.
Wow, somebody guessed Idaho.
Somebody did.
Genius.
Wow.
Maybe he knows Augie.
Yeah, they probably looked it up, so that's cheating.
That is. You're right. That's cheating.
That is cheating.
Well, happy birthday,
Just
Augie.
for that, you give everybody in the chat room a gram of gold for cheating.
That's right.
Send David Vila your addresses. He'll ship out that gold tomorrow.
Thank you, David. All right. Well, then what we'll do, let's take a quick...
David's probably thinking that backfired.
Huh? Not
I said he's
me.
probabing thinking that backfired.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
And just kidding, he's not going to send you any gold.
Right.
So, all right.
Well, don't nobody...
I'm just putting it out
nobody
there.
Hold their breath.
Oh wait, he just said you got it.
I'll send you my address, David. Everybody send them. All right. Let's take a quick break, and we'll come back with some Coolies Corner then, okay? We'll be right back, everybody.
Do you like to mine for gold? Enjoy prospecting a nice crack in the bedrock? Enjoy getting outdoors to camp, fish, hunt, and hike on your public lands? You plan your trip, load the gear, grab the dog, put the family in the truck, and drive off to a locked gate. A sign says you cannot enter or access your own public lands. Mining claims and public land owned by we the people are being designated as off limits by our own government every single day. Are you concerned about the direction our government is going? Are you tired of seeing no access, no entry signs on your lands? We are, and we are fighting back. We are AMRA, America Mining Rights Association, the fastest growing small mining advocacy association in America. AMRA is a 501c3 not-for-profit formed by miners, hunters, off-roaders, retired military men, and women to stop the insanity. AMRA was formed to educate, unite, and help the small miners and public land users on their rights. Rights given to us by God. Do you want access to great mining claims? For a small tax-deductible donation to their Miners Legal Fund, your family gains access to proven excellent mining claims across America for an entire year. AMRA challenges the USFS, BLM, EPA, and the other agencies intent upon stopping you from enjoying your own lands. You are who pays these people's wages. It is time they listen to us. We need to unite. And that is what AMRA is doing. As you sit here right now, thousands of acres of public lands are being closed, locked, and blocked from use by you. Are you fed up yet? Join us. Get in on this fight and let's restore America to what our families fought and died for. Freedom. Just visit AmericanMiningRights.com. AmericanMiningRights.com. Also, check us out on Facebook at American Mining Rights Association. AmericanMiningRights.com.
In 1858, gold was discovered in the rivers of New Caledonia. This discovery would spark a massive gold rush. Today, the search for gold is much easier, yet still challenging with Dirt Hog Pay Dirt. At Dirt Hog, we pride ourselves on our gold and guaranteed gold amounts. Just visit DirtHogPayDirt.com today and buy yourself a bag of the best pay dirt concentrates on the market. Order with confidence in Canada and North America. DirtHogPayDirt.com. The best gold concentrates on the market, period. Also, be sure to check out our Honest Bonus program.
Welcome to Cooley's Corner. Join Rich Cooley as he talks about equipment, new products, and so much more for all us prospectors and treasure hunters. Here's Rich.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Cooley's Corner. Tonight we're going to talk about winterizing. Winterizing all our equipment, winterizing anything we use for prospecting, any types.
Mm-hmm.
So basically this weekend what I did was I had my dredge that was sitting under my back deck all covered up. I ended up unbolting the motor, which has the brackets that bolts to the dredge. I just unbolted it there, carried the motor inside my garage, put it up on the counter, and basically just took the one little fitting out that's at the bottom of the bowl, of the fuel bowl, and drained all the gas out of it. Of course, turned the valve on, drained all the gas out of it, looked in, took the gas cap off, looked in, made sure there wasn't any dirt or debris or anything in there. Pretty much tilted it, make sure, all the gas was out of it, make sure there wasn't any standing water in the pump. And basically just tightened it back up and buttoned it up and checked the oil, make sure. I don't change the oil on mine every year because I don't run it enough.
Right.
How do you guys? Do you guys change your oil all the time?
I'll change my oil four times a season.
4 times a season?
Yeah.
But is that because you're in those real sandy conditions?
Well, no, it's just because we start, say, like at 8 o'clock in the morning. We don't quit until 4:30, and then they run consistently all the time.
Right.
When we start our motors, what we'll do is we'll call it the auto dredging. Like we'll set up the hose and the nozzle where it's doing it on its own. We can walk off for a half an hour and come back, and our stuff is still doing what it's supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
So what we do is just fill them with gas. They never stop.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
we do ours about every other year.
Yeah, that's about when I do mine.
That makes sense.
And I'll give you guys a helpful tip. A Gatorade bottle will hold all the oil in your motor.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Yep. So if you guys are out there, Gatorade bottle will do it.
Yeah,
you got a great point, Kathleen. I'm glad you brought that up.
Now,
Scott, you're saying the regular Gatorade bottle.
The regular drinking ones, just like the singles.
Okay, you said the regular, okay, not the big, humongous ones, but regular to us is like the original, but regular to you could be the minis to us.
Smarty.
What about from my dredge?
Yeah, what about Kathleen's dredge?
The backpack.
The backpack dredge?
Probably not much at all.
Now, is your backpack 2-stroke or just is not?
No.
Not 2-stroke.
No.
Okay, because I've seen a lot of them that are 2-strokes, and those are like really different when you got to take care of those things. But yeah, if you're, like I said, it all depends on your hours you got on it. I mean, it's like like a lawnmower. How many hours you got on it? There's an oil change on it, and that's pretty much how we stick by it.
Right.
Or if you look at it and if you see anything that looks any kind of gray in there, change the oil, because that means it's kind of wearing. You're getting metal shavings in there a little bit, or there could be like one drop of water in there that makes the oil turn gray.
Mm-hmm.
So we always keep a close eye on the color of the oil, exactly, since they're
actually
the motors.
when you first purchase your engine and after you run it, you're supposed to actually change the oil in those.
Yeah, because that's for the breakdown.
Yep, a lot of people don't know that, but that's what you need to do. So you'll buy a brand new motor and it has oil in it. Just run it for a while and then for an hour or two, and then shut it down, drain the oil out of it, and put new oil in.
I think doesn't the directions say run it for 4?
What's that?
Doesn't like your motor directions, I think, doesn't it say run it for 4 hours for a good breaking in, and then change the oil, and you should be good for the next so many hours?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Here's my question. This is kind of getting away from the engine and oil, but you mentioned, Rich, about water in the pump, right?
Right.
Now, that's all obviously, you can tilt it up and stuff and try to get water out. Do you take yours apart? Do you put compressed air to blow out? What do you do?
Actually, if there is water in there, I try to tilt it, and if not, yes, I do get an air hose in there and blow it out.
Okay.
In your gas tank?
No, the water pump.
Oh, just the water pump.
Like standing water in a pump because it can corrode.
Right.
And if you have a Harbor Freight pump, majority of all them styles, they have a plug on the bottom. I suggest every time you use it, when you leave the creek or whatever, you should drain it every time. Because what happens is if you leave the water in them, they will corrode tight, and when you go to crank it, it'll lock up. And you got to tear the pump apart to free it up.
And another thing about pumps, when you guys are taking the gas out of them for the year, because you guys, if they're going to be winterized, you're going to take the gas out. Air hose inside the gas tank dries it out really quick. But what I always suggest to people is leave the fuel in the ball in your carburetor. Yes, it's going to get old, and yes, you're not going to use it next year. But the reason why you do that is because the float inside there if you let stuff dry out, when you put new gas in and it's dry, the float doesn't work right because it's getting too much friction.
If you leave gas in it, you're going to screw the float up.
But what if you put stable?
If you put stable in, then you're all right
for the year instead of draining the gas.
Well, we just, like I said, I always just leave a little bit of gas in it so it's sitting there, and then I drain that out before I put new in and then put it in. That way, it always keeps it wet.
Been there, done that.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah, I think put stable in and make sure your stable gets into the bowl. That way that float can't stick, and then you should be fine. That's what I used to do anyway. But
like Dart said in there, when you're dealing with the pump, if you leave the water in there and it freezes, it can crack the pump housing.
Yeah. So after you,
if you don't leave the motor, and pump indoors. I put mine in my garage.
You don't need to put antifreeze in it after you drain it, do you?
No.
Unless you're storing it outside or something. I mean,
right. Just maybe put a little in there,
I wouldn't really.
No, I wouldn't either.
I just try to get most of the water out of it. As long as there's not a lot of water in there, it's not gonna.
Right. Not gonna wear.
I'm like Rich.
You don't
most
want
of
to
my
put
stuff.
antifreeze in your pump.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most of my stuff's kept in the garage like Rich's. There's some people's probably got outside sheds.
Yeah.
But all of our stuff is like connected to the house, so.
Right.
Okay. Well, yeah, and you're in a warmer. You don't really worry about freezing so much, do you, Scott?
Yeah.
Now in the winter during the night times, we worry a lot about freezing. I mean, there's been times where I went down the claim and I had to walk my whole hose and step on the hose just to crack the ice out of it so the water would blow through. So there's been times where it's gotten close.
Okay. But it's not constant.
No, it's not constant.
Right.
Like I said, most of the stuff we do around here we call summarizing.
Yeah, that make more sense.
So basically, while we're talking about motors, Swifty, why don't you go ahead and cover the motors basically on your blowers? Because dealing with dry washing on the West Coast, you guys pretty much deal with your blower motors and all that. And right now is actually your gold season about ready to start. So when are the time of the year that you guys usually, I guess, so-called winterize or put your stuff away for the year?
Well, usually my stuff goes pretty much, it gets put up after April. And like in May 1st is I'm out. It's done.
Okay.
So when I'll go back home and like I said, I'll drain the gas out and I'll leave it in the bowl, the motors, because the next year I get it back out. The easy thing for me to do is just go up here to Home Depot, and it costs like $10 or $11. You get a filter, an air filter, and a new spark plug. Mm-hmm. And you change them out, and then you put the new gas back in. You empty the old gas out of your little carburetor bowl. Let turn the fuel on. Then your new gas will come back in there, and it'll run great. I mean, it's just 3 components that you got to fix in that motor. Mm-hmm. So they're really easy. But when it comes to the dry washers itself, you was asking, saying earlier we were talking about nuts and bolts and things like that. You guys, if you ever run a dry washer, you're going to know it's really consistent. There's only like 2 main pins, long pins that go through the hopper that goes up on top, and the hopper that goes on bottom, and then you got a chain that hangs on the hopper. So that's not really a big thing. It's metal. It folds up. It hangs on the wall. But one of the things you also want to really look for, and you could call it winterizing. Of course, I always do it at the start of the season because I always check my cloth. And the cloths in a dry washer are very important because, well, if they got holes in them, you're going to be filling your dry washer and not having it go outside the dry washer. You're going to have it inside, and it's going to create trouble because your fan and the weight, the weight that swings and puts the vibration in your box won't put enough vibration in it because of the overweight of the dirt and everything that's in the bottom. So you always want to keep that cleaned out. But that cloth, you always want to check for holes and stuff like that. Now, I don't buy replacement cloth off the internet. This is just a personal thing. I actually go to Walmart. You go in the fabric section. They're going to have a whole roll of the black cloth that you could put on a dry washer. You could buy it for like $2. It's enough to do it 2 times. And then grab you a can of that, what we call 777. It's some pretty sticky stuff. It's a spray on. So you clean your tarp off, you scrape everything off, and then you spray that 777 on there again, and then you stick your mat back down. And when you get it tight and then it's grabbed, then you'll go ahead and glue the other sides of it on, and then you come back in the louvers or the riffles, so to speak, and then that's where you're going to put your little what we call clear caulk or window caulk. We'll put a really, I'd say probably about maybe a little over 1/4 of an inch thick width in it on the cloth and the riffle itself, because that creates that little dead space that we want down in the bottom of the riffle itself. And then after that, let her dry, and man, you're ready to rock and roll. I mean, it ain't too bad. I thought about doing a video on this, as a matter of fact.
Probably wouldn't be a bad idea.
Yeah, I'd like to do one like on how to recloth one. Just saying, a lot of people, you go to buy another cloth on the internet, they're kind of expensive. But then, if you got other ways you could do it, if you don't want to go, some people just have to have that kind of cloth because it come with the dry washer. Me, I know I can get pretty close to the same stuff, at Walmart in the sewing section, just because we always look for backdoor stuff out here in the desert. Because we can't always, you just can't order stuff and have it show up, 3 weeks later. We're going to lose time. So we have to fix stuff now. And if we can't fix it with the right stuff, we fix it with the right stuff that's the wrong stuff, But it still works great. It's still fabulous. And it's just still top of the line to me. It just depends on how you stretch your fabric, and how you stick it down and stuff. You don't leave it loose or anything like that. You want it nice and tight. And then, like I said, as soon as you put that clear caulk, the window caulking in there, on the bottom of you're ready to go. It's perfect. I mean, no, if you get gold going through the box, you shouldn't be losing it. Which we all know, dry washers are only like 87%, on the recapture rate. So it's just like I said, just make it tight, and then you're ready to go for the next season. It should be it's a simple fix. And it's something that somebody can do in their garage in like an hour. What we call tinkers. Like if you guys were using a dry washer and you happen to pull it back to Indiana at the winter time, you could just tear it all apart, and you could check everything, make sure your pins aren't bent or stuff like that. You ain't got no cracks in your plastic, and then you go back to your cloth and you make your cloth, and after that you're good to go.
Cool. What about vacuum cleaners and stuff like that?
Now vacuum cleaners, that's kind of a vacuum cleaner is a vacuum cleaner. And there's really, you can't, shake the dust out of it. But you know what? Vacuum cleaner, folks, if you're going to use it enough, it's going to wear out. So you're just going to buy another one. When you got the one you got that goes to crap, just buy another one. Don't try it. Don't try to refill
filters and all that stuff or whatever.
Yeah,
filters out, clean them.
Yeah, they only work so long. Most people, shop vac you use for 20 minutes, and poof, you put it back up. Mm-hmm. But if you're sitting out there all day and you're running this shop vac from dusk to dawn, and all of a sudden it goes poof. Well, it went poof because you got so many working hours. Just buy another one. Refix a vacuum cleaner would just be tedious. It would be a waste of time, actually, I think, in my opinion. Yeah. But then you got other stuff like you could actually. You guys, your tubs and stuff like that. You guys usually have cleanup stuff around the house, right? So that's one. Clean your cleanup stuff, your cleanup sluice. Man, make sure those. Your little bilge pumps, those is the ones.
We're getting to that. We're getting to that. Don't get ahead of me.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, he will,
You done?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Can I talk now?
Okay, I think so.
Yeah. All right. Next. Now we're going to get into... Basically, let's jump to RVs. RVs, tents, any kind of things like that we actually use for coverage when we go out. Of course, Swifty does it too, but Shad and Kathleen, you guys was going to do that today, but you didn't?
No, we got sidetracked. So our travel trailer camper thing is still sitting in our driveway.
HOA
illegally.
Anything yet?
Found.
Yeah.
No, but we did buy the RV antifreeze, right? Because obviously, if you're not using it full time and it gets to freezing, you risk damaging your pipes and stuff. So you're purging your water system is vital to avoid costly repairs and unpleasant things to happen. And one thing we've learned, the first year we did it, there was one part in the toilet that obviously had just a little bit of water left in it, stuck in it. And would you know it? That cracked and it leaked the next spring right away, and we had to order the part and got it in a day, but it was easy. But still, I was like, gotta make sure that we're running enough antifreeze through the toilet system.
Right.
We didn't do that as much, so that lesson learned. And then this year, we actually had the kitchen faucet. They're was like a little screw that kind of went in to secure the nozzle part of the sink faucet with the little mini aerator on it.
Mm-hmm.
Evidently, there must have been a little tiny bead of water stuck there because that cracked and leaked out, like squirted out, like shot out, all crazy. So he had to replace the sink. Now, granted, those two fixes were like, I think, $10 for one part, 15 or 20 for the faucet on an RV, and it's so simple to install stuff. Now, where you really got to make sure is obviously first drain all your lines, and underneath them they have the hot and cold lines. You can just unscrew the caps or open them up, valves up, so you drain all the water out you possibly can. Your water heater, obviously, drain that out. You do not want to forget that.
Now, do you use any air when you do that, too? Try to get everything out of the lines, or?
No, just because what you do then is you pump antifreeze through your all your lines.
Okay.
And then you run everything, to put cycle, obviously, antifreeze in through your plumbing fixtures, and definitely flush out the water in your P-traps. For your sinks, that's really big important. Now, not everybody puts antifreeze in their hot water tank. Ours doesn't have a bypass. I could probably install it if I want to deal with the hassle. I don't know yet. But if you have like the water bypass switch, those people are able just to turn it off, so they don't pump any antifreeze into the water heater. But they probably may want to spray it. And, so that way there's no liquid left in there, little beads of water that couldn't get drained. But I honestly, from an RV perspective, that's probably your biggest and most crucial thing is taking your time and doing it right and make sure you de-winterize the entire plumbing system.
Yeah. Right.
Sure.
But there's still other things we do. Obviously, what, Kathleen?
Well, we give it a good scrub down.
Yeah. Sure. It's nasty in there. Strip the sheets, any bedding.
Make sure there's no crumbs of food because you don't want critters.
Yep.
Now, do you pan out any of your stuff?
No, we haven't done that. Pan out to see if any little gold.
Huh. Yeah, that's a good idea.
We'll try that out.
I mean, when I was down in Alabama before, and we were down there and I kept getting dirt and stuff in my shoes and stuff, I'd panned it out and I found gold in there.
Now, when we were in Alaska, we definitely panned out our shoes and gear and stuff. We found some.
Yeah. I mean, people don't think something like that. It's
definitely.
It sounds a little weird, but I mean, heck, it's just like if your vehicle or, you put your clothes in the vehicle or whatever, when you vacuum that stuff out and pan it out, you never know.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I don't. Can you guys still hear me?
Oh,
yeah, we hear you.
My screen just went blank, so I don't know what's going on. But there, now it's back. So, okay. So we good with the RV stuff?
Yeah. The only other thing I recommend people do is we take our batteries out. Mm-hmm. And I even take the propane tank out just because people steal stuff, even though I chain mine. But also check all your storage compartments because, like, one of our smaller generators, the Honda, we'll put underneath one of the compartments. So you want to make sure you pull that stuff out so you don't leave any small engines you maybe store in your RV without taking care of those. So.
Now, do you put any mothballs or anything in there for like mouse or anything like that? Like a lot of people usually do.
No, we haven't had to do that yet.
We haven't had issues yet.
Yeah.
Do you guys?
Wait. What's that, Scott?
I was going to say there's a short trick. You guys know what hedge apples are, right?
Yes.
Or some people. My grandma used to keep them down in the basement for mice and spiders, and she never had any in the house. So. That's another way. If you guys can find hedge apples, put them in the corners. That'll.
Well, the hedge apples have already fallen and rotted away at this time of year, Scott. Yeah. But thank you. I'll be sure to pay attention next spring.
They say
they last a long time.
They say peppermint oil put it on cotton balls. And
Oh, there you go, Kathleen.
Yep.
Some peppermint oil
I
on
know
cotton
Kathleen's
balls.
got that.
Well, maybe that's why we never have a problem, because that camper's full of essential oils.
Could
Yeah,
be.
there's all
Irish
drops
sheets,
everywhere.
Irish soap, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, they do not like peppermint.
Cat room's just blowing up with all kinds of mice stuff.
Now, Rich, do you have an RV too, or
No, I do not.
Okay, now Shad, do you guys? I mean, you pump in antifreeze and stuff like that. But have you when you first got it, did you ever not pump it in? Because like us, we'll like sometimes like in the wintertime if we're not using it, I will just take the water stuff off, disconnect, empty everything out like you said, all the tanks. But then we just leave all the nozzles and everything open through the winter. That way, if it does freeze and the ice expands, it'll at least have a way to go and push the air out the.
Yeah, I mean,
faucet.
you can. I mean, it depends. Like here on East Coast, or if you're in more in the northern parts like Montana, Wyoming, and stuff,
Right.
I probably wouldn't chance that just because how cold temperatures drop. But I've heard people doing that, opening the, so there's like if anything's going to move through it can drip out. But no, yeah, we go ahead. I mean, the RV antifreeze ain't much. It's like you get $2 to $4 a thing, and you only need a couple. Really.
Oh, that's not bad.
Depending on the size of your RV, of course. But I know with ours, like they use the PEX, right?
Yeah.
Rather than like copper lines or PVC lines. And those are made to kind of give a little bit and reduce the risk of some freezing, but we don't take the chance.
Right. Now, what
Yeah,
about,
see, mine's PVC.
Yeah.
Now, what about your gray water tank and stuff, Shad?
Oh, well, you just drain it out.
You just
I
make
mean,
sure
when you're
it's all drained.
cycling antifreeze through the system, too, because you turn all your faucets on and make sure they all run pink.
Okay.
Your toilet, you need to make sure it runs pink. The shower heads, if you have one, make sure that runs pink as well as
the antifreeze is pink. Is all antifreeze pink?
Yes.
All RV antifreeze is
Well, at least for our RV.
Okay.
But yeah, you run it through every single one. So your tanks, are going to obviously capture some of that last bit of water maybe in an antifreeze, and that's good enough to prevent it.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I mean, we heard one guy in the spring, I think it was this year even, when they were filling up their water tanks for the first time at the campgrounds. You heard this big, kind of like you push in plastic piece and then it pops out.
Yeah.
Right? That's what happened. But when his popped out, it was his water tank, and this was like a massive driving RV bus thing. Yeah, water just dropped out all over the place. That guy literally looked, and everybody standing there just didn't know what to say. He just got in and just drove off. Yeah, he was in the middle of talking to us too. And we just kind of stopped, like, oh boy.
Poor guy.
Yeah, so make sure. You get all water out of your RV.
Yeah. Make sure. Yeah.
No, I do them since I don't have an RV. Of course, I do my tents. I just check to make sure that everything's all right with them. That way, next time when you do go out, especially you seem to lose the stakes sometimes.
Yeah.
Or you use them for other things, and
that gets you upset.
Together. Everything
that always happens.
Yeah. What about?
And then your canopies.
Yeah.
With canopies, we had some weather testing this past year. I was down in Virginia. The things almost blew away, but mine's about ready to need replaced. So, it lasted me 10 years. I just need to throw it away and get a new one.
Wow, you're lucky because Our
10 years is
we
pretty
go
good.
through pop-up tents like nobody's business. They're making them cheaper and crappier every year.
Canopies?
Yeah.
Yeah, the rods and all that pieced together. And now they have the ones where you just almost pull up on them and they open up. I think Darth has one, and they're just expensive as the other ones where you put the rods together and set them up.
Yeah.
Plus, you can put it up and tear it down real quick instead of having to mess with the rods and putting them through the holes and all that.
Now, Rich, do you ever spray your stuff with water repellent during the winter? That way you can, when you put it up and you get it out next year, it's going to be still brand new.
I treat mine with a water treatment also.
Cool.
weather resistant treatment.
But your tent's not canvas though, is it?
I don't know what material it is. I think it's like a polyester or something.
That like, like that plastic stuff.
Yeah, there's a spray that they make like Safeguard. I think it's called like Safeguard or something like that. Or Weather Guard. I think it's Weather Guard.
I think you're right, Weather Guard.
Mm-hmm. Now,
this stuff works good. You can put it on boots or anything. It's pretty good stuff.
Sure, but you can. Now, do you throw anything in your tent to keep the critters out of it, Rich? Like
No. Pretty much, I just lay it out. Like today, I had it set up and just aired it out and cleaned it out, vacuumed the rest of any pine needles or anything that was in there, cleaned it all out, folded it up nice and neat, put it back in the pack, and made sure everything was in there. That way, next year when I grab it and go, I know make sure everything's there.
Right.
I do that with all my equipment. I tear all my boxes apart. Of course, most of my boxes are labeled with everything that's on them.
Right.
Any digging equipment that I have, any hand trowels, any scoops or anything like that are all in certain boxes. Pans are in boxes, but of course over this year everything got spread out in the garage, so now is the time to go ahead and clean everything up, put it back in this perspective box, and then I made a list of the stuff that I needed to get. That way, over the winter here, I'd get that stuff and make sure I pack that and put it away and get it back in an appropriate box. You always need to make sure you have extra stuff, and going through your cleanup boxes, like my cleanup sluices and all that, I always go through and make sure, and if I had any leaks or anything in them, I marked them. Now, winter times, usually what I'll do is I'll go through and silicone any of the holes that had any leaks, or check the bolts, hardware, make sure everything's tight. It's anything that you need right now, winter times. If you got nothing to do, you can work on little projects and stuff like that. I usually took everything out and checked it, and sometimes you have in your cleanup boxes, sometimes you have nooks and crannies. You get pieces of gold and sand, and especially your classifiers. Take your classifiers over a 5-gallon bucket, tip them over, take a wire brush, scrub the backs of them, shake them, tip them over the other way, scrub the inside, shake them. You go through all your classifiers, and then you take your 5-gallon bucket and wash it out and put it in a pan and pan it out, and you'll be surprised how much gold you find for your whole year.
Now, Rich, do you guys and all you guys actually, I could ask you all you guys, do you guys take your mats out of your dredges and stuff like that before you put them up?
Yeah, I actually take mine out, and I do the same thing. I put them in a black tub, and I wash them out, scrub them, trying to get any last gold or any bit particles, anything out of them. Mm-hmm. And then I let them out when there's a nice day and let the sun beat them and dry them out. And I actually go ahead and put mine back together and button it up. And that way it's ready to rock and roll next year.
Right.
See, the reason why I always got a thing, I always tell people to take your mats out, because I used to leave mine in. But I noticed when you start out, like in the next season, they've been in there and they've been smashed and they've dried, that when you lift up your riffles and stuff like that, there's imprints, and the riffles are still, they drove down into that carpet, and it's made an imprint. So when you start using it,
that's probably because when they were put in wet.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why. That's why I said dry the mats and everything out before you put them back in.
Yep. See, that makes sense.
Yeah, you wash them. I wait till they're like bone dry, then I'll sit there and roll them up in a bucket with a hammer.
I have never had them have imprints in as long as they were dry. Now, one time I did put them in wet, and they did put imprints in, so I stopped doing that. So, yeah. But yeah, you're right. I mean, that can happen if you don't follow the proper procedures of doing stuff. You find that stuff out.
Yeah, you don't want a gap under your riffle. That's not what you want.
Find out the hard way, don't you?
But I mean, there's all different things that people do. I usually try to check everything out at the end of the season. That way I get no surprises next year. And that way, whenever it would be, and you get a nice weather there early spring, you get that nice weather, you can just grab the stuff and go,
Right.
You don't have to worry about, well, did I do this? Did I check that? Did I do that? It's done. And you're ready to rock for next year,
All right.
Sure. Makes sense.
What I usually do before I go out to the season, I will fire my pump up at home. That way I'm sure when I get out there that it runs good. You know, I set up a big trash can with 2 sawhorses, piece of plank across it, screw the motor down to it, fill the big trash can up with water, put the hoses in there, and I fire her up. And that's how I can test my air compressor, make sure it works, it's pumping, and I do that every year.
You're ready.
That way when I go out and I'll just turn the gas off and run it out of gas, and when I go out, all I got to do is turn the gas on and fires right up and rock and roll.
Yeah, smart.
You know?
Smart.
But the other thing with it is when you're going through your supplies, you know, especially if you label everything, you know what you need. You know, any kind of plates and bowls and cups and silverware or, you know, utensils or anything that you use, your lanterns, your propane mantles, your propane green, you know, your cans for on your propane.
Mm-hmm.
Any of that stuff, you know, you know what you need, and just make a list up and make sure you get that stuff and put it back in appropriate places.
Sure.
I mean,
that way you know right where it is next year.
That way you know right where it is, and grab your stuff and ready to rock and roll and go, and not be questioning, did I do this, did I do that? And the wintertime's the best time to do all this stuff, and that way you have everything ready.
And I'll tell you guys another thing, and this is a real good tip. If you have batteries in anything, take those things out.
Yeah.
Especially in your metal detectors, your pin pointers and all that. If you're not going to be using them during the winter months, go ahead and take them out. You know,
radios, lanterns, lights, whatever's got a battery, take them out because those things go crazy.
Pull them. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I used to hate that. You open up something like, what's all this greenish blue looking? Oh,
yeah.
Dang it.
Yeah. Always nice and fun, ain't it?
Oh, man. Eat your clothes up good.
Really? That's why I don't ever leave batteries in none of my detectors or nothing, ever. No batteries are in them.
Yeah, I do. I usually take them out when I'm not using them, though.
That's me.
Pretty
They're
much.
out. You know, until it's time to use it. Then it's like, hunt up some batteries, put them in there.
Yeah.
And what's really bad, if that does that one time, it's virtually almost done. You can get in there and clean that out, but that stuff's still going to erode the connection that goes to your battery. It ain't going to last too much longer.
Hey, one thing on batteries, I want to throw this out there, especially when you're dealing with a 9-volt battery.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you put duct tape on the end of your 9-volt battery.
Mm-hmm.
Do not store your batteries all together with other batteries because they can get together and then all of a sudden they'll catch on fire or melt your bag.
Yeah, buddy.
You know, there's 9-volt batteries, you know, when they touch other batteries and they get together, they can actually cause a fire. So you got to be careful on that. Like Tim did before, he basically just took duct tape and duct taped 9-volt batteries on there all in a row, you know, one this way, one the other way. And, you know, or actually what I did is I saved my 9-volt battery packets.
Right.
I go ahead and put them back in the packet and then tape the packet up so they won't move around.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there you go.
Tim,
you got to watch
you gave
batteries.
us a bomb.
Yeah, Tim, you gave a giant box full of 9-volt batteries all touching and getting together and
Hey,
stuff.
I had them all the tops pointed up, and they were all secured.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people don't think of that kind of stuff. But I mean,
know.
Hey, that's like
in my hunting room, I have stuff laying there, and if I go in and I move something, and those batteries touch together, you know, it can happen. You can have a fire.
Well, that's like people that have like a junk drawer. Like everybody's got one, pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what? I've actually seen junk drawers where I open it up and like there'll be a couple SOS pads in there with 9-volt batteries. I'm like, you guys know, if you just touch one of these, what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
Like, what? I'm like, here, let me show you a video.
Yeah. I mean, I actually had one laying on my workbench down there, and the same thing. I had the steel wool. I had steel wool laying there, and I took a battery out of my fire alarm there in the house. It was real weak, and I had it laying on there, and I took that Brillo pad or something and I threw it on the workbench, and all of a sudden I started seeing smoke. I'm like, what the heck?
Oh, yeah, it'll light them up.
And it did. It caught on fire.
Yep. It's a great
Had a nice little flame.
Great little fire starter. What it
Holy
is.
cow.
And it was.
You wouldn't think steel wool.
And it didn't even have that much juice in that battery, but it had enough for it to spark. And
well, it heats that.
Now here's my question: when you're talking 9 volts, AA's, AAA's, why don't you just throw them out after each season and start fresh in the beginning of the year?
Yeah.
If you're not buying rechargeables.
That's a good point.
Well,
too.
what I do is I actually test them. I take a multimeter and I test them.
Right.
Oh my God! Really, Rich? You got way too much time. You voltage test your batteries.
I do.
Yeah, I use my tongue. Yeah, that one's
Think
good.
about it. I only buy Duracell. I don't buy the other cheap batteries. I only use Duracell.
Yeah.
Because
Dude,
they've always
I need to come over, Rich. I want to film you. All right? I want to film you in your process of dewinterizing and how you check everything so methodical to show people
That'd be awesome.
how far, you know,
I mean, that's
really go.
You know,
Awesome.
Rich.
I mean, you're honestly, I think, probably the most meticulous one of us.
Yes. Oh,
Of
God,
all
without
of us.
a doubt. Yeah.
Hands down.
I don't like surprises. I mean, I like to be in
There you
control.
go.
You definitely are in control of that
I
situation.
like to be in control. I don't like surprises. I mean, Darth knows how I am. He knows that I'm not perfect by all means, but I'll tell you what, I don't like having something happen when you can't do anything about it, you know?
Right. I don't know. I got one of them little
Rarely
testers.
forget stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it has happened, but not very often.
No.
I think
Yeah,
I
there's
forgot
only-
a time, and that was about it. But
There's only one instance where I've ever seen Rich mess up, and that's when we all did with our dredges and high bankers, and he lost his little floaty box.
Yeah. But
That's the only time I've ever seen.
Yeah. That's why
Yeah.
Rich doesn't hang
I had
around.
everything in that tank.
I noticed Rich doesn't come around anymore. You notice that too?
Yeah.
He don't like us. We have too many surprises.
But Rich will probably never lose a box again. You know, that's
No.
the thing.
No.
Oh no, he's gonna have that dummy corded
Yeah.
and everything else imaginable.
I still haven't replaced all the crap that I lost the last time with you guys. So.
Rich probably has GPS trackers and all his gear now too. Oh, where's that O-ring? Hang on, let me go to my app and my phone.
It starts sounding off an alarm.
Don't give
That's
him
a
no
good
ideas.
app.
Don't give him no ideas. You might want You're like, oh.
Yeah, I work for the government. We have tracking devices for everything.
See?
Yeah.
Well, you know what's funny is for the last 2 years when me and Ben leaves camp, we put tracking devices in our motors.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that, right? If you're
Yeah,
really
it tells you
upset-
Especially with the washes there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if
that
it
makes
moves
sense.
if it moves 1 foot, that thing will ring into Ben's phone and say, "Hey, your stuff's moving."
Right. And then
Somebody's got him. Or
Yeah,
something.
Exactly.
it's heading down the freeway at a high rate of speed. You know, there's something wrong.
Yeah, to get him out of the claim would take you at least an hour unless you drove a side by side down there. But then we'd catch you at the road coming out.
Yeah.
There's only one way in, one way out.
But you never know. Does it? I guess.
But I mean, I'm meticulous when it comes to my equipment. I like to make sure that it's going to work, and
well, yeah.
even my sluice boxes that I haven't used for frickin' years,
Mm-hmm.
I always make sure that they're workable. I mean, that way when I come for them,
That's
I know,
preparation.
because the clamps and stuff on them rust, they get,
Right.
they get tight, and you got to make sure they're freed up and everything works. And
That's prep. You're prepped.
Just-
You're
Yeah,
prepared.
my sluice box is so old, the glue on the rubber part up the top it's so old it dry can come off. I was like, well, I don't need this part anymore.
Now, Rich, you're not like one of them prepper people things, are you? That like preps for anarchy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was gonna say if you was, you'd be really good at it.
Why do you think he
preppers.
grows all those potatoes?
I know. Rich just told a lie, so you get thrown off his scent. He probably has a whole giant subterranean house going on right now.
No, but I do
Really
store
funny.
potatoes all year.
See, what about rice and water and all that? You'd be good at it, Rich. You would be a good prepper because you are so meticulous about this stuff.
We got 3 5-gallon buckets of potatoes this year out of my garden, and I have a box downstairs full of potatoes, and then in my other refrigerator in the garage, the whole bottom crispers are full of potatoes, reds and whites on one side.
Well, you're ready.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
You're ready. See?
And it's just
Some
me and my
of them
wife
are
said they last all year,
Sure.
They'll last till March and April.
Wow, dang.
Now, do the eyes grow out on them a little bit or no?
Now, not the ones in the fridge. Now, the ones out of the fridge, yeah.
Okay.
About every 2 weeks, you just go through and pop some of the eyes off.
Oh, yeah, see?
What I do is around March, well, usually February, March, The ones that are inside, I usually let the spuds grow out, and then I use them for starter seeds for potatoes.
Exactly.
Smart moves. Now, see, Rich, Ray even said you even had an extra pillow at the outing.
I did.
That you hooked him up with, remember?
I had an extra sleeping bag for him, too.
Rich is prepared. Yep. Way to go, Rich. Now, what about like
he's the Boy Scout.
Yeah. Now, like, what about like your waders or your wetsuits? Is there anything you should do with them?
Actually, that's a good idea. I pretty much keep up on them. I mean, when I get a hole and I come back, I pretty much patch them right away.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But I actually have hangers that I hang mine on and keep them stretched out. I don't roll them up.
Right. That's what I was
I'll
going
keep
to
the
ask
legs
you.
rolled up on them. They're pretty much hanging on my garage door. The railing from my garage door opener, I leave them hang there all year round, pretty much. All stretched out.
So they should be hanging, not.
Yep,
not
and then my
rolled up.
wetsuits, I pretty much fold them up and put them in my box with all my other gear that I use for diving and stuff, my masks and
Right.
and all that is in one box or bin, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, see, all my stuff, like my wetsuits, I'm like Rich. They go. You guys remember back in the day when they had those Marlboro Miles or whatever, and they gave you stuff through the mail. I got one of those big giant 3.5 foot bags that come from there, and that's I keep 2 wetsuits and all my masks and everything in that one bag. So,
Yeah, I have a storage container for all that.
yeah, wetsuits are not bad to fold up. Waders, I'm with Rich. You better leave them flat or hanging somewhere.
Right. Yeah. I didn't know if you should leave your wetsuit like hanging on a hanger somewhere.
You can, and
Is
it's
that
probably
better?
best that you do, but
Yeah, I didn't
if
know
you
if that
don't
was
have any
better or
storage
not.
space for stuff like that, then
Right.
it's best off just to fold them up and put them in a container.
Okay.
Yeah, but you got to have a good hanger because wetsuits are not light.
They are.
Oh, they're heavy.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
you got to have a heavy duty one.
Now,
you know.
Ray says hang a wetsuit upside down so the feet don't fill
With bugs,
with
yeah.
bugs. Thank you,
Bugs,
Scott.
yeah.
I couldn't see it. Okay. They fold his wetsuit in a tot. Okay, I got it. All right. See, I was wondering. I wasn't sure. Best
And I
place
think,
for 'em.
I can't remember, but they have things that are specifically made to put wetsuits on, I believe.
Probably.
Oh,
You know,
I'm
like-
sure they do for a nice, pretty penny, but
Right.
come on.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could build something out of wood. I mean, you could
Oh,
just look
yeah.
and see how it's made, but
Right.
that's another option there. Putting something, you can just hang it over like a pair of upside down legs.
Mhm.
You know
Looks
what?
like most
Actually,
people in the chat room, they fold up their wetsuits and put them in totes.
Okay.
you know what? I never thought about this, but if you took old mannequins out of a store and just took the legs off and bolted them upside down on a board, that'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you like having
Mannequin out of a
mannequin
store.
feet in your garage.
Silence
Yeah.
of the lambs.
Yeah, but they throw those things away all the time.
I
They're
never
a hoarder.
noticed, but you know what? I want to follow you around with the camera.
Yeah. Silence of the lambs. Scott
I'm
wants.
telling you, our show could be a reality show.
I think we should. Let's put this into practice, Scott.
Scott wants mannequins. Now, if you got a mannequin, you can ship it to Scott Swiftwater, Tony. we'll give you that.
He is right, technically.
I think outside the box when it comes to this stuff. I can't help it. It's just the way my mind works,
It's okay.
But I'm like, what goes in waders? Oh, your legs. Well, what looks like a pair of legs? Well, the closest thing I can find is a pair of mannequin legs.
Yeah, like Bogan said, the guy at Tommy D's told him it's okay to fold them. Yeah.
Okay.
You can fold them.
You know what? That's good enough for me.
I've always folded
Good
mine.
enough.
I mean, never had any issues when it came to that.
All right.
Even the what are they called? The skins. Yeah, the skins also.
Okay. Well, they also that Gary said use a piece of 2-inch PVC pipe in the legs to keep them open. So that probably lets air come through it.
Nah, I don't go that far.
It's still some good ideas. Yeah. A lot of good ideas in the chat room. So interesting. Very interesting.
The other thing of it is, if you have any first aid kits, you update them.
Yeah.
Make sure you go through and check, any kind of things in there that you use throughout the seasons. Update
Right.
your stuff,
And you know what, Rich? I think that would be one. I'm glad you said that. That would be one of the most neglected things I think of gold prospectors and gold miners always forget about is the damn first aid kit.
Yeah.
I always carry one in my truck, but I have one in my tote that I take along also.
I was going to say, I got one in the truck, and I usually have one down on the claim. But you never think about redoing it until you like need it, and you go like, oh my God, I can't believe these things are old and they're not sticking, and your Band-Aid,
Yeah.
So that's a very, I think that is a very important thing, because I believe that is one of the most neglected things that we as miners and stuff like that, we forget about until we actually need it, and then we're like, oh my God, it's all.
Wish I also usually have like 8-to-1 thread too.
Sure.
You never know.
Makes sense. But yeah, well, it's right. It's one of them things you don't think about till you get hurt, and then it's like, I wish I had a first aid kit.
Yeah.
It happened real quick.
This is true.
And I'm telling you what, guys, if you move rocks, big rocks, it's going to happen.
All right. Let me see something.
So here's what we've learned. Rich obviously has some amazing advice. You hear how meticulous Boy Scout he is. We learned also tonight that Scott has a weird fetish of mannequins. So,
yep.
I'm just saying. That's what I took away from this tonight.
You missed it.
Oh no.
Unreal.
That's the Kathleen back here. She can't help herself. She's losing it.
I just make myself crack up. Sorry.
I don't know. We missing anything else? What else did you cover? Anybody in the chat room want to bring something up or call in?
Wait a minute. I know there was something.
What's the call-in number?
419-520-7574.
There you go. You got any question, comment? You want to add something to the list? Go ahead and call in and let us know.
You know what? I tell you what. I'm glad you did that. You said that about the first day, because I got to redo mine, and that just threw. I was like, oh man, that's one thing I didn't forget. I'm like, you know what? We all forget about that till they don't work.
Yeah.
I went to truck.
Somebody's life. I mean, you never know.
It just sucks when you go to get a Band-Aid and it doesn't stick because the sun's beat the hell out of it. Oh, I hate that. But that reminds me, I got to get 2 new ones. And usually I buy the ones that are they're like that little blue box. They're like a foot by 12, a foot by foot, probably square box, flat. It fits in the truck real easy, but it's got everything you need in there.
Yeah, like that. I made one out of a plastic ammo box that Shad gave me. It was like, I just put everything in there, and it's like, I have it now. So just in case, works like a charm. And it's plastic; it won't break.
Right?
See?
It'll break.
Well,
it'll break.
It will break. Yeah, it will. But it works, and it holds a lot of stuff too. So that's what's cool. Got plenty in there.
Now you built it yourself, or did you get the box and you just went and bought a first aid kit and transported it over?
I got the box from Shad, but then I just started putting everything first aid I could find in it. So I had a bunch of stuff. Gauze and tapes and Band-Aids and crap like that, and I just put it on.
Well, one thing we always did in the infantry was, depending on the environments we went to, we would build our own like mini survival kit, right? Mm-hmm. And it would be a container like, anything from something really small to something that would fit in a little pouch like a Kool-Aid plastic container that holds the powder. Yeah. And so if you're in like cold weather going out to the mountains, you would obviously pack, lighting stuff, space blankets, things that signally mirrors, gauze, any first aid stuff to be able to maybe get some food with or something. But yeah, you would tailor it to the environment that you're going to.
That's a good idea.
What's really funny is because a lot of people don't think about this, being out on a claim and stuff like that. But I will give everybody one good tip. Always have burn cream in your first aid kit.
All right, let's take this call, Scott.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, good idea. All right, let's see who's calling us tonight. Oh. All right, hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from? Let's see. Oh, typical. Hang on, caller. Don't go nowhere. Stupid Skype. Take 2 seconds, and I'll be able to hear you. You there, caller?
How about one more time?
All right. I said, hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
All right. How you doing tonight?
Good. Hey, it's Nick Nick Golf from the DCPA out here in Roseburg, Oregon.
Hey, Nick.
Right.
How the heck are you guys?
Oh, doing good, man. How are you?
Good, good. Hey, I got just a few minutes
Sure.
before I got some company showing up,
Okay.
and first time I've been able to tune in for a little while, so wanted to call in and check in, and I wanted to ask, I haven't been able to listen for the last couple of weeks. I wanted to find out if you guys got everything all sorted out with what's going on with Gold Rush and figuring out where where that dude is way off up there in the Yukon.
Wait a minute. Which guy?
Let's see. We got. I'm trying to think of his name. The guy that works for. I'm totally drawing a blank now.
Wait.
Now, you were talking about Rick, the one that was up in northern Yukon or something?
I was going to say Rick Ness.
Yeah, Rick Ness. That's it. Yeah, he was working for Parker there for a long time, and then he went out on his own.
Right.
And
That's Rick.
I just want to make sure you guys understood where he actually was.
Where? Tell me.
Yeah, so he's outside of a little town called Keno City, like, you play Keno on the lottery.
Right.
Keno City.
Right.
And it's about, I looked it up on the map, it's about 350 miles pretty much due east of Dawson City.
Okay.
And so anyway, so he's out there in the mountains, and there's big old nuggets coming off of this big old knoll he's out there mining on. And he's on this place called Duncan Creek.
Right.
Anyway, so I wanted to let everybody know that I figured out where he was at.
Thank you.
And you can look him up on the map. He's just outside of Keno City, and it's in the Yukon Territory. So when you look it up on Google,
okay,
it says Keno City, and then it says YT Canada, so YT for Yukon Territory.
Got it. So it's still kind of the Yukon then. Ish.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but
It is
he's
not
out in the middle of
Yukon-ish.
BFE.
It is
right
the
out
Yukon.
there in the Yukon.
Yukon-ish. We'll go with you.
I think what he was trying to not the caller, but what Rick was trying to say is like he's not around Dawson anymore.
Yeah.
He's more
Not even
outside the
close.
realm.
Right. Yeah, I didn't get to see it, Friday night, but I did see one of the earlier episodes, and I seen when he was actually going to that claim for the first time and was getting permission to work it, and those guys showed him that tin of nuggets. It was like, good Lord.
Yeah.
But that's as much as I seen, so I didn't know if he actually stayed there at that place or what. So that's the place.
He
right
did.
there. Okay.
He did, and he stayed there. And then the coolest thing, I watched, it was either last Friday's episode or the week before, but the thing is that he's got big nuggets up there. He's got like quarter size, American quarter,
So
and
he is.
sometimes bigger size nuggets coming out there. And the whole thing with mining up there in Alaska and the Yukon is that everybody goes after the finer stuff.
Sure.
Because it's more plentiful, and everybody wants to go metal detect the tailing piles up there because everybody misses the big stuff.
Right.
And they don't mess with it. They don't want to mess with it. They don't want to mess with what it takes to get that bigger stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so, all those tailing piles are like, everybody.
Oh, I
I
could
would
imagine.
just love to go up there and metal detect them.
Right.
But Rick Ness, he ended up building a little nugget trap into this wash plant that he's got going up there, and so he's actually able to catch the bigger stuff too without it blowing out the end. And
Yeah, see, me, I was on the fence of the nugget trap.
He ended up with like 45 ounces.
Wow.
I see how he built the nugget trap, and I still fence on it.
20 of those were these bigger nuggets. I mean,
Okay.
it was like $20,000 in these bigger nuggets. I
So
was like,
he
holy
is
God.
finding those big nuggets, those like those guys showed him then. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
cool.
Yep. So he's found a way to keep them, because I'm like, man, somebody's got to come up with a way to figure out on these big old wash plants that they've got how to capture these big nuggets. And they actually did a kind of a bang-up job.
Nice.
Just at least in this little cleanup, in this little wash plant that they've got, which is, smaller than, these big industrial ones. But,
Okay.
I mean, it was amazing to see that.
Right. See, I don't even know what kind of equipment he's running. I know he said he couldn't run dirt rentals up there, that it wouldn't work.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
So I don't even know what kind of.
Well, I think that
And he was-
the guys that guy that he was mining from said no, he doesn't want that kind of wash plant up there. He wants the real McCoys up there. That's why he had to get another one, I thought.
Oh, see,
he rented one from somebody until he could find one to purchase or something like that.
Okay.
So I really like, I really like being able to watch Gold Rush this time around and see, somebody starting out on their own. Right. Like last year, Rick Nash, he had a break-even season, and he's not Parker Schnabel.
No, we all like Rick.
Millions of dollars in the bank, he's just watching rock trucks, go back and forth all the time, don't we all,
So, do you know what Rick's goal is this year? Is it 1,000?
Yeah.
He wanted to double what he did last year. That was his goal. I don't remember what his goal was.
Scott, you say it's 1,000?
I thought he said he wanted to get 1,000 this year again. I don't think he was trying to shoot over strictly because he's looking for new ground, and there's no guarantees, and you know that as well as I do, about finding new ground. But I think he said he'd want to try to get 1,000 again, which, you know what, if he did to go to new ground and he hit 1,000 or over, he'd be he'd be well in what he does, I think.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Man, thanks, Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing I'm waiting for myself personally is for Gold Rush Whitewater. That's Dakota Fred.
Right.
And that team that are up there, they've got claim outside of McKinley, right around McKinley, the mountain, and waiting to see what they turn out. I got a chance to actually meet Fred Hurt down here in Southern Oregon. He lives maybe half an hour, 45 minutes from me, and I actually got to meet him once down here at one of the sportsman shows, and just a real good quality guy.
Yeah.
He's not the jerk that, they make him out to be on TV and everything, and it was really cool. So I'm waiting for that to see what's going on there.
That one starts, first week in November or something, I think?
November 8th is the premiere date there.
Right. That'd be cool. Yeah, ready for that one, too.
Yeah, for sure. And his boy, forget his name off the top of my head, but he's kind of a
Dustin.
What's his name?
Dustin.
Yeah, Dustin. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a Bronx boy. He's a New York Bronx boy. So he's he's just not my type of person. Let's say that. I guess I don't know. I'm a West Coast guy.
Cup of tea. I got you.
I think they're both hard-headed.
I don't know. Fred don't seem like he's like that though.
No,
he don't.
Right.
Fred just seems like he's smart. One, he knows what he's talking about, and I don't know. And I don't know. He just don't seem that way. Fred don't.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know. I've liked Fred since the beginning.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, even when he was on Gold Rush, 6-8 years ago, whenever that was, he was on there. It was he was doing good. He was doing good. So, got family that showed up. But the last thing I wanted to put a bug in your guys' ear, I think a couple 2-3 weeks ago, I ended up winning a bag of pay dirt from Dennis Dayton and his buddy that were on.
Okay.
And I hadn't heard anything about that. I gave Rich my information.
Okay.
But I hadn't seen anything anymore about it, so I just want to make sure that was still in the works.
Well, it should be. Dennis ain't on tonight, but I'll send him a message and find out, okay?
Cool.
You got
Appreciate
it, brother.
that, Tim.
Not a problem.
I've been looking forward to them pit cons, man.
Yeah.
That stuff. I've heard him talk about it time and time again.
Right.
I'm like, oh, my gosh.
I'm glad you reminded me. See, I forgot about that because that one was, like I said, that was Dennis and Dustin's, so...
Yeah.
I don't even think about it when it's somebody else's.
Yeah, and I sent the information on, but
right. But I'll send him a text and find out what's going on. Okay, you got it.
All right,
buddy.
cool. Love
no
you guys
worries.
and what you're doing. It's awesome.
Thanks,
Keep
brother.
up the good work.
Thanks, man. You have a good night.
Talk to you guys soon.
Take care. Take care.
Bye bye.
Later, buddy. Bye. Oh, Dennis.
Yeah, we need to make sure we follow up on that.
Yeah.
And everybody, too. I mean, if you do get something, you win something, and you don't hear nothing in a week, let us know. Don't let it go.
Yeah, let me know, and I'll make sure Rich sent the information, or I sent it, and we'll follow up on it.
Uh-oh.
She's ringing.
Hello.
All right. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, guys. This is Wygold.
Hey, what's happening?
Oh, yeah, Wygold.
Wyoming Gold.
Yes.
It's Wygold.
I had saw somebody wanted me to call in, so I wanted to go ahead and call in.
Well, what's going on?
Fantastic.
What is happening?
Not much. I guess if you guys haven't saw, I found a class ring last week
Yes.
from 1984.
I seen that earlier.
Yeah, that's
on the site.
awesome.
That was a cool find. Yeah. So you're a big
Yeah.
detectorist, right?
Pardon?
I said you do a lot of detecting, don't you?
Yes.
See, so it's now Shad's got to carry that big old battery on the plane with him.
No, I'm sorry.
Yes, I
I
do.
couldn't hear it. It seems like it's breaking up.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I
So
said,
far, so good.
okay, Shad's getting ready to take a trip, and he's got that detector, and it has that big old battery. It's got to go in his carry-on, right? Because you can't store
like I
batteries
said,
no more.
Yeah, like I said in the chat, I wasn't sure because I don't fly.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Mm-hmm.
But I've seen people actually take the batteries out of their machines and put it in with their check-in luggage. But that was before the new rules changed
That
everything.
new rule, it's like, I guess it's every battery. But Shad, what kind of cases are you putting them in?
What do you mean? Like
To
when you're
protect them.
checking in the bags?
Well, your detectors to protect them.
Hard case, the hard case.
Like a hard shell gun
Yeah.
case type deal?
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, I think a nice foam gun case would be perfect for that. You know, foam on both sides. Just you imprint it. You cut the foam out to fit the metal detector. I think that'd be awesome.
Well, what's cool is these, detectors, man, they break down.
Right.
You know, all the components come off the poles and everything, so you can really break them down to fit into a small hard case, suitcase, container or something.
Right.
But, yeah.
That's true, but at least they'll be protected from the dreaded
Definitely,
baggage
yeah. I mean,
handlers.
come on. the way that they take care of your luggage, give me a break.
Yeah. Could you imagine what your detector would be like? Okay.
Exactly.
I was just curious.
Now, why gold? Where are you located at? You do a lot of metal detecting. Where are you located at?
I am in San Diego, California.
Nice.
Oh, so you're
Yeah.
okay. You're in Nugget country. Cool. We have two West Coasters
and
calling tonight. That's awesome.
I'm really looking forward to trying to make it over to the Nugget Shooters Journals. I just don't have transportation.
Oh, gee. Okay.
I can get to Phoenix, no problem. I can't get to San Domingo.
Jeez. Yeah. So you do a lot of beach detecting then, or both?
Yes, I do a lot of beach detecting. This is actually my second class ring I found within the past month.
Man.
I've been able to return it.
That's cool. That's really cool when you can return it and actually find them. That probably takes a lot to find the person, don't it?
Well, the first one was a surface find. I just happened to swing my detector, and it was a little dark at the time, but when I swung my detector, it made a sound, and I looked down, and it was just sitting right on the high tide mark.
Wow.
A sunbaker.
Yeah.
Somebody said.
And the second one, I think it had to deal with being dredged up, because I saw the dredges out there in the bay earlier this year, so that's the only thing I can think of, because that particular beach that I hunt, there are a lot of guys that hunt that beach.
Okay.
Or I mean, you can see anywhere between 2 to a dozen guys hitting the beach up at one time, anytime.
Wow.
And it's more of a competition here than it is on the East Coast, where it's more relaxed.
Right.
Here, these guys they're in it for the gold, which everybody wants. I mean,
exactly.
This is how I make my living.
Sure.
So
okay.
Gotcha. It's a big competition, but everybody they're all friendly. So and they like to give tips and helpful. I try to give people tips.
Okay.
Now, when you go metal detecting, do you guys? I mean, I'm pretty sure you probably go when the tide gets out low. That'd be the obvious thing to do. But do you guys, I mean, since I know like metal detecting is a big thing in California, especially on beaches and stuff like that, do you guys like kind of mark out your territory, or is there just kind of an unsaid rule, like don't come in this spot, that kind of thing with other metal detectors?
No. You guys have you'll have a lot of guys that they'll come up to that certain spot where if you already are detecting, they'll continue to detect or they'll just move along. I usually, when I see a group of people they're detecting, I usually go maybe 100 yards further down away from them, and so I give them their space and they give me my space. But we always come up and chat and show off our finds, but it is a competition.
That's cool. Now you detect,
especially further up in the LA area.
Right. Now, do you try to detect every day?
I I usually have a set time frame because I know when the crowds are going to be hitting.
Okay.
And a lot of times I go in the early morning hours when the low tide hits, and then sometimes I'll hit the beach and work it from 6 a.m. all the way till about 5 or 6 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh, wow.
Just depends on the crowds.
Okay.
What's the most expensive thing you found?
I found a watch, Sandoz watch. I can't remember, but it was one of those automatic winders. It was valued about $500.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
That's a cool.
Nice.
I know you said you do it for a living. That's why I wasn't sure. You know.
That's a real cool
Yeah.
find. Dang.
Now, when you go out hunting, is there a certain level that you want to be at, and you'll walk all the way up the beach, or is there just a certain level you're going to start at, and you just do like a 100-foot by 100-foot square? You'll just keep working up to the say back where the cars are parked.
Well, when I go hunting this one particular beach, I hunt it for about 6 months out of the year because of the horrible sewage problems we have from Mexico coming in, and it closes that beach down. So I usually do a grid pattern, and then I'll go to the other beaches further north, and then I'll just do the high tide and low tide marks, and sometimes I'll just hit where the towel lines are. But when I first started, I was doing everything, even what I call no man's land, that big stretch of open sand from the towel line to the parking lot. That's what I call no man's land, and I've had luck finding gold and silver in that, but not very often.
But still, you're finding stuff. That's more than we can say. You know? So any tips for Shad and Kathleen on their little detecting trip?
Dig everything up.
Dig every target.
Yep, dig it all.
Dig every target.
You just never know. That's the thing. I mean, I thought that class ring was going to be oh gosh, what did it ring up? It rang up like an 8-9, and then it jumped up to 18, 19 or something like that. I can't remember, but I thought it was going to be another fishing weight because I was digging fishing weights all day long that day. You just never know.
You work off a number system and not the sound.
Most of the time I just listen, and then I'll look down at the ID number and just kind of get an idea. But I can tell when I hear a certain tone, I look down, oh, that's going to be a penny. Oh, that's going to be a quarter. You know, and with with my machine that I run a Equinox. Silver kind of rings up the same with the coins, so I just never know.
Oh, so just dig everything.
Yeah.
All right. It's good information, you know. Definitely is. And we appreciate it. That's for sure, buddy. Yeah. Anytime we're on these metal detecting conversations, you chime in, give us a hand, you know.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't want to consider myself an expert because I'm always learning something new every time I go out.
Right. Well, you know more than we know.
And I've only been doing it for 4 years. Too.
That's 4 years longer than we've been doing it. So it's like I speak for myself. I mean, I go very rarely, and I just get so frustrated of finding junk. I just go, screw this. I'm done. I ain't never.
Oh yeah, you ought to come out here and find bullets.
I
for
would rather
freaking
find
3 days.
bullets than cigarette packs and pop cans or beer cans. It's like, geez, it just gets ridiculous. Bullets would be cool.
Oh my God.
Well, there's kind of like a general rule. Every 100 targets, you're going to score a ring or like a silver or gold. So you're digging all those 100 targets, it's going to be junk, and then boom, you got something good.
That's what I've always heard.
All right, you hear that, Kathleen? We dug probably about 40 crappy little twisty tie things.
You only got 60
so we got 60 more to go.
Yep.
And there's your big score.
Yeah, but I mean, like I was telling you guys, you ask why I go. Hey, if they're finding those little twisty tie things, they're going to find a picker. They'll find a picker.
Oh yeah, I mean, I couldn't believe how small those pieces were.
Dig it all. Just dig it all.
Dig it all.
Just dig it all.
Yeah.
That's the best
Yeah,
advice.
like I said, you just never know what's under your feet.
See? Pretty cool. Well, we appreciate you calling tonight, man. Thank you very much.
Well,
definitely.
Well, thank you, guys.
And you
too.
You have a good night, and thanks again. Okay, buddy?
All righty.
All right, you take care.
Okay, guys.
All right, thanks, man.
Bye.
Bye, buddy.
Man, it's been pretty great. We got 2 West Coasters call in one night. That's awesome.
Hey, I'm just glad we know for sure it's Y Gold, not Wyoming Gold. You know?
Yeah, we can finally lay that to rest. Now we've heard it straight from him. Yes, it is Y Gold. I'll still continue to think that, though, because it's just me. You know. Oh, don't forget, Tuesday night, Ed, Jess, and Dano, Tuesday night hangouts. This Tuesday is their open mic night, so if you want
Tuesday,
give them a call and tell them we said hey. But,
we never did talk about how you're going to do this drawing.
yeah, we got the drawing tonight for the water table. So there's a couple ways we could do this.
oh man, I want in on that. Am I illegal?
You're too late. It's closed.
Dang it.
The early bird catches the worm, Scott.
Yeah, I totally forgot.
See? So there's 3 ways we could do it. I could just have the girlfriend come in and draw a ticket out of the bucket and we read it. Or I could do a YouTube Live and draw it. Or I could do a Facebook Live on our official Gold Prospector Space thing. Which one do you think would be most productive? And then I'll post it on the site anyway.
Now, is everybody that's in it, are they like on Facebook, or are they on the radio show?
I don't know. I know they're members of GPS. That's all I know.
Yeah, but there's a lot of them that's not on Facebook.
Right, exactly.
I don't know.
Well, you know what? I think it would probably be more beneficial if you like had her pick out a name. You could read it over here.
Yeah, we
and
can
then
do that.
if you wanted to do a YouTube Live, you could just say, okay, this is the name that we picked out, and show people the name and stuff like that.
Right. Or, let's see, like Ray said YouTube, Randy said have a girlfriend do it. It's like, I don't know, and then I'll post it on the post anyway, the winner's name if they're not here tonight or not listening tonight.
I just meant like if most people was in here that's in the drawing, then I would probably announce it over here.
Yeah, Ed said have the girlfriend do it. So that's what I could do. Or I could just shake it up, have her come in, reach in the bucket and pick a ticket and done,
That way they know tonight. And
yeah. Right. And like Ed said, not everybody's on YouTube either. You don't have everybody's not on Facebook.
Yeah.
And we do know they're all members here, So, they're going to know if they just check the site. They'll know.
John said he thought it was on Wednesday's show. No, we announced on last week that we were going to do it Sunday night.
Right, on the 27th that we was going to do it.
Yep.
That was what we said. So I'll just continue shaking them up. I'll send her a text and see if she can come in here and draw that for us. Or I could just get up and you guys could cover for me for a minute. You want to cover for me for a minute?
Mother of God, just draw a name.
We got to make it more interesting. Shad, draw a name for you. Reach in the bucket. Can you reach the bucket from there?
Yeah, hang on. Let me reach
we're trying.
It's Scott Toney.
Shad Biffle.
Oh, mercy.
Yeah, you can, send your drone over maybe,
fly
so
your
you can
drone
view
over,
it.
let it land in the bucket, and pick a ticket, and that'll do it. So I just sent her a text. She'll come in here.
There you go. Nothing wrong with that.
Wait a minute. You're in the same house, and you got to send a text.
Well,
How can you just get...
He in his room.
Why? I'm in the room. I'm in the room where the computer in the studio is. She's in there, right? The door's closed. If I go get her, I got to get off the air, so you would have to cover for me.
Right.
Oh, I thought maybe you just stand up and go, hey, come in here for a minute, and then just walk back to the table. I'm sorry.
No.
No, he said.
No, it's in a different area. That way it's quiet.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't want to hear the TV or hear the dog barking. Okay, here she's coming in the room now. All right, I need your assistance. I'm going to hold this bucket in the air. And
Hello.
without looking, just reach in and grab one ticket. All right, it's reached up as high as I can reach. So just get one ticket only. All right, read the name on the back of that ticket. If you can read my writing. Oh, God.
And the winner is... Ding.
Oh, it is Toledo Jazz.
Oh, Toledo Jazz.
L-E-D-O.
Draw a new name.
Congratulations.
And the ticket number,
Unbelievable.
the last 3 digits of the ticket number is 474. That's the last 3. Thank you very much. Yes, thank you very much.
Toledo Jess got the water table.
congratulations, Jess, and thanks to everybody else that entered that. Thanks, Hunch, for drawing that, and I'm sure Jess says thank you too. So congratulations, Jesse. So
I was getting ready to say, hey, does he have to say in the chat room he's here?
No, nobody has to. That's
winner chicken dinner.
They do not have to say.
He just said to pass. He said to pay it forward, draw a new name.
Did he really?
No.
I'll do it if that's what he said.
No, he didn't say that.
Did not say that.
He did not say it,
Jess
Kathleen.
Jess is probably like right now going, what's that phone number?
I know, you got the nice delay.
Well, congratulations, Jess, and thanks to everybody who entered that.
Yeah,
Way
good job.
Jess, I'll get it in the mail. Give me an address, and I'll take it to UPS tomorrow and ship it out to you. So, all good. We got you covered. So, thanks, everybody, for that, and that was fun. So, I got that ticket right there. And I think that about covers everything tonight, if I'm not mistaken. That is everything. Birthdays, Coolies Corner, no Dennis. I think that is everything. So
Hey, stay tuned for Wednesday for Spooky Halloween.
is it going to be?
I know it's not a video of Scott with mannequins. So
oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the 27th.
He said to have Shad throw in a bag of buffalo horde dirt.
Jeez, he don't want much, does he?
No, he doesn't.
He's got a heck of a lot of stuff in there, Jess.
He's got 2 bags of dirt already. It's like, dang.
And
I
silver.
don't think he knows what's in there.
I honestly don't think he does either. I think he needs to go look at the page and
2
see.
bags of dirt, silver, you're getting a water table.
Yeah.
What more do you want?
Right, there's some goodies in there.
Evidently, some awesome buffalo horde. You ain't getting it.
That's right.
Hey, congratulations, Jesse. That's awesome, buddy.
Yeah,
They're gonna get the dirt.
Yep, he's getting 2 bags.
He said, "Yeah, he forgot about that."
Yeah, That's dang, Jesse. All right, well, congratulations again. Thanks, everybody. And until Wednesday, like Kathleen said, Spooky Wednesday show, 9 o'clock.
Nickel diggers.
West Coast. That was so quick. West Coast Wednesday. Until Wednesday, have a great night, everybody. We're out of here.
Nickel diggers.
Good night.
Good night, all.
Good night, gold
diggers.
Be sure to tune in next Sunday at 7:30 for another great show. For updates and more info, please go to www.prospectorsradio.com.